Yo, I'm feeling like this is the new spot. You're like, this is where I'm gonna start every video. It just feels at home. You get what I'm saying? So in today's video, we're gonna finally run this boatload of wiring for my fuel pump. We're gonna run this wiring so that, you know, I don't burn up my stock wire harness, and the fuel pump gets the proper voltage so that it can pump the adequate amount of fuel, and I can have the adequate amount of fuel pressure. You know, I'm just rambling on. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how to run the fuel pump relay, because if you don't know, if you go a bigger pump, you have to run wire so that the fuel pump, you have to run a relay so that the fuel pump is getting adequate voltage to push out the pressure, the fuel at the adequate amount of pressure. Alright, yo, so I'm gonna try to make this as simple as I possibly can. So in your pack comes all this wiring. I went ahead and made the executive decision, and I cut and I trimmed it to my application. They give you all of this wiring in the box because essentially they think your battery's not in the trunk, if you get what I'm saying. So all that wiring is for you to run to the front of the car with the battery. But my battery's in my trunk, so I cut it and I trimmed it to where my battery is located. And you should do the same based on your application. So I trimmed it and I cut it, and they give you this little extra this is the fuse. The fuse is in here, the little fuse block off, whatever. So they give you this and they give you the instructions. So on the instructions, let me get it to focus. On the instructions, you have yellow, which is power to the pump. The switch, this is what turns the relay on. This is what turns the relay on. So you get this from the ECU. The ECU sends the signal to turn the relay on. The ground is any ground you find in the vehicle, and the red is power from the battery. If you see, my battery's in the trunk. Sometimes they have different colors on different relays, so I'm gonna show you guys what it is based on the value. So 85 is, you know, ground. 87 is power to the pump. So on Hondas, right, depending on what color 87 is on your relay, 87 it says is yellow. So this yellow wire right here is what powers the pump. For the relay to turn on, you have to get that signal from the ECU, because when you key on, that's what sends the signal to the fuel pump for it to, you know, prime when it's in accessory mode. That same signal is what turns on the relays, what switches on the relay. Hence the blue wire right here, which is the switch. This is what turns on the relay, and I'm gonna show you guys right now. So okay, so you grab your relay and you test, and I tested. So for you to know which wire sends signal to the relay, obviously, again, it's the blue wire. Wait for it to focus. Right, it's the blue wire. It's 87. I grab my blue wire, but it's a positive, and I grab the ground. And when you do that, you should hear a click. So if you, I don't know if y'all can hear, but that little click is that's the switch for the relay. You should hear that click. That's how you know which wire is the switch for the relay to kick the relay on. So once I figured out the wire, which one's the switch for the relay, it's pretty straightforward. This plug may be a little bit different from you guys' own. They put all into one plug and, you know, jam packed it in here. So the bottom on the Accords, the bottom two is the power for the plug. The rest, the top is like fuel leveling sensor and all that extra shit. The bottom two is power for the plug. So this one is ground, this one's power, whichever. Yellow and black is power. That's all you need to know. Yellow and black is power. Once you locate the yellow and black, because the other wire is most likely going to be one solid color. Once you look and you find that non-solid color out of the two, you should know that one is power. So you cut it in half. One side is before the pump. So this is the input. So yeah, I'm gonna try to be as clear as I possibly can. When you cut that wire in half, before the pump is what's called the input. After is called the output, because obviously you're getting the input from the key. When you turn on the key, that in turn is the output, which sends the signal to the pump to prime. You get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just make it simple for you. Once y'all cut the plug in half, locate the side of the harness. This is the harness side. This is where the harness runs to, and this is the pump side. This is the pump side. This is the side that plugs in to go to the pump. This side is the harness side, and this is all one plug. All this is one plug. I just cut it in half. So you get your relay, right? You get your relay. You put it in there. The back portion, the blue wire, or 86 to whichever one, runs to the relay. This is what kicks on the relay. Because remember, as I said it millions of times, this is your key on. Once that key on gets a signal, this is what powers up the relay, right? Then your 87, or whichever color it is, right, runs into the harness side of the plug. I'm trying to be as clear as I can. Hopefully all this will focus. This runs into the pump side, because this is power to the pump. The yellow, or 87 is power to the pump. The blue, which is 86, is signal from the ECU. This is on the harness side. 86 is on harness side, 87 is on pump side. After you figure that out, everything should be straightforward. Red is power from the battery. Black is whatever ground. I have ground right here, so that should be easy. So a majority of figuring that out is just running the relay. So once you figure that out, you should be, in go mode. You should be lit. You should be, everything should be fire. Not little fire, because we don't want no little fires. So once we get that, once we figure that out, and once we get to read the diagrams and everything is Gucci, you should be alright. So and never just wire it up and tape it up and just put it away. I like to solder it because you get a stronger connection and it's safer. You should never ever just join them together and just electric tape it, because God forbid you get a fuel leak, and that those wires are live wires. So if you, damn, bugs is all flying on me. If you get a, God forbid you get a spark from a live wire and you get a fuel leak, that's kaboom, and that's your whole your whole project car, and we don't want that to happen. So we decided to pull up,
yes, man,
to get the wiring situated here.
Built not bought, right?
Let me see what you got going on. Let the camera see what you got going on.
Yo, man, show the core packs, man. Let them know.
Alright. My son over here trying to go fast. Got his little Audi R8 coils. Where you trying to go with this?
Yeah, man,
where you trying to go with this?
I'll take it faster than you at least.
Trying to go faster than me?
At least that. Then I'll be happy.
But yeah, son doing this thing.
Yo, Quidra, where you at, bro?
Coolly Drag.
Show me the ropes.
Son doing this thing. So yeah, while he's doing that, I'm out, and I promised that I would show y'all the harness that I made. So this is the harness that I made. Little slim harness. I got it bolted down right there. I got the factory ground off because I'm gonna run this ground back so to that one, and I ran this through the original factory loom, so it's easy for me to whoop, whoop. And when he's done with the solder, then we'll put the solder on the time lapse, and then we're gonna situate how we're gonna run it. And then the last of our worries is power and ground. So this is where we at right now. It's heat shrunk underneath, soldered, and I just put this extra, you know, protection for the wire loom. I would just put this wire loom protection on it, and then I extra taped it so that, you know, just extra precaution. How this looks, bro. This is the final product. These are all the wires. This is the ground that runs back there. This is the power that runs. I made everything into its own little harness, as I said. Power. The tool that run into the actual fuel pump right here. You know. This is the blue one, which runs before the pump. This is before the pump. The yellow one actually goes in between the grommet and runs to the actual pump. So if we did it correct, we should actually have, you know, if we did it correct, our fuel pump should work. So now just to tighten up the fitting in the engine bay and to you know, test it out to see if my wiring was correct. Damn, sun is still at it.
Number 5 harness. About to be done.
Wasted.
Yeah, relax. He's supervisor, right?
He's supervising. He's supervising. Relax. He's supervising with his eyes closed. So yeah, the cousins finally meet each other. Facts. The coils look valid though. We running them. We're gonna clean them up. Don't worry about the wire harness. We're cleaning everything up.
What you said?
No, none. So yeah, I was saying I need to tighten up the fitting that's underneath here. That's underneath this fuel pressure regulator right here. I need to tighten up this fitting right here because it was leaking a little bit when I primed the fuel pump. So after that, it should be fine. So we should tackle. I'm done with that, so I'm gonna help him out with his wiring. So we gonna hit y'all. So yeah, cycle it.
Huh?
Cycle it.
Alright.
Y'all hear the fuel pump? Yeah, that relay kicking on, Papa. Check to see if the wires are getting hot. Wires aren't getting hot. Relay is cool. Good to go. That's how you run a clean wire install right here. You heard it? It's clean, bro. Though. I ain't gonna lie.
It is. Much better than mine?
Yeah, we're gonna do yours next.
Facts.
That's that, but it did work and the fuel pump did prime and I was getting adequate fuel pressure at the gauge. So much pressure that it actually started shooting out. So I have to tighten up some fittings in the engine bay. And that's that. Don't get caught lacking. Run the relay. And because, you know, fuel is one thing you don't want to play with. Fuel is, especially if you're trying to make high horsepower, fuel is one thing you don't want to play with. So take the extra time, take the extra precaution, do things right, wire it up right. Don't do any electric tape connections, solder it, make sure it's, you know, secure. And you know, be humble, stay icy. Yo, Swami, you got anything you want to say to the camera?
Do it right the first time.
Huh? Do it right the first time. Y'all heard him. Do it right the first time. Don't be cheap. My man is living that out right now. That's why he's on the table wiring. So do it right the first time. Don't be cheap. Save yourself the headache. And we gonna hit y'all.